A week on from when the scandal first broke, RTÉ finally released some selective information yesterday about hidden payments to Ryan Tubridy. But it skirts around the issues that are at the heart of this fiasco. It leaves more questions than answers. And reading the RTÉ statement, you'd be led to believe that Dee Forbes was the only person who knew about this, but that simply isn't credible. More than half the Executive Board had knowledge about the commercial contract. At a time of pay cut for workers in RTÉ, at a time when people were struggling to pay the annual licence fee during a cost of living crisis, in order to falsely portray that Ryan Tubridy was taking a pay cut, RTÉ created a sweetheart deal and an elaborate plan to cover it up. And all too often, that's how things in this country work for people at the top. RTÉ's top brass knew that there was a separate sweetheart deal in place between RTÉ executives and Ryan Tubridy's agent, hidden from the public. This sweetheart deal involved Renault paying Ryan Tubridy €75,000, but this would be reimbursed by RTÉ through a separate account. Ryan Tubridy would also attend private events at Renault, while RTÉ would pick up all of the costs. We now know that it was the commercial director which negotiated with Renault this side deal. She was the person who agreed with Ryan Tubridy's agent that the invoices would be paid through the barter account. She organised the payment through the barter account, and none of this would be known if we were just to read the RTÉ statement. The fact is, Taoiseach, that RTÉ's executives knew that this contract was being negotiated. RTÉ's Chief Financial Officer, the Director of Content, the Director of Audiences, all had some knowledge about these negotiations. Many of them knew about the commercial arrangement between Ryan Tubridy and Renault, bizarrely underwritten by RTÉ, and they knew it was in place. The former Director General was responsible, there's no doubt about that, but she wasn't the only one whose knowledge of taxpayers' money being spent without recourse to the board, to the Oireachtas, to the Minister or to the taxpayer. And this, at the heart of it, is public money, Taoiseach. And we've got to get to the bottom of this, and we've got to get to the bottom of this quickly. We have absolutely no idea whatsoever arising from the board statement yesterday about what happened in 2017, 2018 and 2019 with all of those extra payments to Ryan Tubridy in those years. We don't know who cleared them, we don't know how they were made, we don't know what they were about. The RTÉ board have published nothing concerning these payments, and if there is to be full transparency, the public need to know about these payments. It is not acceptable that we're being asked to wait another month for more information to be released. This scandal first came to light a week ago, so this is not transparency. We need answers, and we need answers now. We need all of the documents, all of the arrangements, all of the side contracts, all of the secret deals, all of the side letters published without delay from all of the relevant time period. And can I ask you, Taoiseach, if RTÉ do not do that, if they are not transparent, if they don't release all of these documentation, will you, as Taoiseach, use the powers to request the Minister to use her power under the Broadcasting Act to send in a relevant person so that all of the information is available to the public and that there is full transparency in relation to this scandal?
Thanks very much, Deputy, for raising again this important matter here today. The revelations from RTÉ last week are deeply unsettling and have shaken public trust in what is an important institution. We want to see trust restored quickly because we need to have a strong and effective public service broadcaster for our state. It is important once again to acknowledge that the vast majority of staff in RTÉ would have known nothing about this and certainly did not benefit from it in any way. Minister Catherine Martin wrote to the Chairperson of RTÉ to set out her expectation that any statement provided by the Deputy Director General would answer questions as to who signed off on the payments of $75,000 and who else was aware or involved in these payments. The Minister also asked for timelines for completion of the further Grant Thornton report into the understatement by RTÉ of the additional €120,000 paid between 2017 and 2019. RTÉ has provided an update that the further Grant Thornton review in relation to the 17 to 19 period will be concluded within 4 weeks. We do not believe that timeline is satisfactory and have asked that the report be provided more quickly than that. And the Minister is engaging with RTÉ in that regard. While the RTÉ statement from yesterday shed some light on what has transpired, a lot of questions remain open. So we expect to see a full and open engagement at the Oireachtas committees today and tomorrow. And certainly we do not believe it is credible that the former DG, Dee Forbes, was the only person with knowledge of these events. Government and the public expect nothing but full and open transparency from RTÉ executives and board members when they attend committees of these houses today and tomorrow.
Thank you, Minister. And there's no doubt that Dee Forbes wasn't the only person who knew about these. We can see that from the Grant Thornton report. We know that the Director of Commercial is the person who operated the barter account, who negotiated the secret deal with Renault that allowed for RTÉ to reimburse Renault and cover all of the cost of the Renault events that were being organised with Ryan Tubridy. We know that she was the person who authorised for the invoice to be raised by Ryan Tubridy's agent, and we also know that she was the person who organised for the payment to be made through the barter account. None of that we would have known from the RTÉ statement. We have to read the Grant Thornton report to get it. But there's numerous other individuals, executives on the board, who also had knowledge in relation to this secret deal. And this is the problem, because at the core of this here is about the insider culture that happens at the top. Those people, the highest paid in RTÉ, and secret shady deals, elaborate mechanisms to keep it away from the public eye and public scrutiny, where people at the top are looked after and others, ordinary workers, are having to suffer either through pay cuts or pay freezes, and it is not acceptable. Now, Taoiseach, the RTÉ had a chance to disclose all the information. They haven't done so. You've asked for them to fast-track the Grant Thornton report. But can I ask you, RTÉ knows where this €120,000 payments in 2017 to 2019 arose from. They discovered it. Do you agree with me that they should put that information on the record today and not have to wait a number of days or weeks? The information should be available today. And can I finally ask you in this, and with your indulgence, will you use the power, if RTÉ aren't transparent over the course of today and tomorrow, the committees, will you use the power to appoint somebody into RTÉ to make the information available to the public?
We're way over time.
Thanks very much, Deputy, for your questions. And I acknowledge what you're saying in relation to double standards in RTÉ, people at the top of RTÉ applying one set of rules to some of the people among them and a different set of rules to others in the organisation. But I do want to point out two relevant facts. I think it is important. From the information that we have to date of the top 10 or top 20 personalities in RTÉ, it would appear that only one of those received a clandestine payment. So I think it's important that we don't cast aspersions on the other 9, 10 people who could be described as being at the top of the organisation. And also it is important to point out that this matter was exposed by the external auditors hired by RTÉ to look at their own accounts. This is not a whistleblower situation. This is a situation of external audit actually functioning. And I think it's important to make that point too. I don't believe 4 weeks is adequate. I think the executives today at committee should explain why it takes 4 weeks, or why it should take 4 weeks to put this information in the public domain, or at least explain why it should take 4 weeks, because I don't understand that and the Minister doesn't understand that either, and we've made that clear. The proposal of the Government is to establish an external review to look at the governance and culture of the RTÉ organisation, and the Minister reserves her position as to whether that will take the form of somebody appointed to do that, or whether she will use those particular powers under the Act to appoint a relevant person.